So as you know, I've come up to the Lake District. I'm having a bit of a car camp. You can see the car in the background there. A bit of a rest and relaxation time. Now, I've also come to get some landscape photography in. The shot I've got in mind, you see behind me, that's Derwentwater, and in the distance over there is Keswick, and we've got Waller Crag over there, and Blenkethra over that way. I think it's Blenkethra. Right now I'm part way up Cat Bells. Now I'm not going all the way up Cat Bells. I'm actually going to this ridge that you can see behind me. That should provide enough elevation to get a view over the whole lake and down towards Keswick and the mountains surrounding. Now in about 40 minutes is sunset. So I need to get there for that, get a composition, and hopefully get some nice images in. Now, the sun's setting behind Cat Bells, however it should throw some light into the sky over this way. And what I'm hoping is a bit of reflected colour from the clouds in the sky on the mountains and the lake below. That's the idea for the image I've got in mind. Nice cold look to the mountains, nice reflection in the lake, and it really is still today. I'm loving the way the lake looks today. But some nice colour in the sky. So far it looks like we might be getting that. And later on, I'm going to get a bit of tea on, have a coffee, and then talk about what we're going to do tomorrow. Because if we get these conditions on the lake tomorrow, I'm hoping to get up before sunrise. I'm hoping to walk down towards the lake's edge and get an image of the Waller Crag and the mountains, the lake, hopefully with reflection, maybe with a bit of mist, hopefully with sunrise. But for now, we need to get up here. Now there is a bench over that way, so I'm wondering if people tend to go and sit there, so I'm wondering if there's a nice view there. But I'm thinking that this might be a good view, looking over the old estuary. So let's get to it. As you can see, I made the right call on location. The sun is doing what I thought it would do. It's hitting the peaks during golden hour. I'm going to get a shot of those mountains in a minute. I'm going to set up my composition so I can get a shot over the mountains. But I should also get some nice colour in sunset. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and get a good portion of the lake in and down towards the mountains over there as well. So I'm going to set my composition so the lake's creating a leading line across the image into those reflections and those mountains. Snow Peak Mountains, gorgeous reflections in the water. What more could you want? Okay, so I've already set my composition. It's a nice easy one as well. I'm looking straight out towards the mountains. To turn you around on the camera, I'll show you what I'm seeing. So as you can see, I'm looking straight towards the mountains. If I turn my camera on, hopefully you can see that. It doesn't focus very well on the camera, but as you can see, I've got the lake just forming a lead to these mountains in the background, and a moment ago there was just a bit of light on the top of those mountains. Now it's getting a little bit darker, the sun is going down, we're starting to get more reflected colour in the sky, but there's going to be less colour on the mountains. There's going to be less light on the mountains. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to wait for sunset. I've got my golden hour shot, I've got some nice colour in the sky, got the peaks just nicely lit up, and I've got the reflections in the water. As the sun goes down, those reflections in the water might disappear a bit because the water might start moving more as the atmosphere starts changing due to the sun going down. But for a shot, this isn't bad. What I'll be doing later on for sunset, which will be about another 10 minutes, I'll lower my shutter speed right down, which is why I've got my tripod with me. I'll lower my shutter speed right down to bring up the exposure in the foreground so I can actually work with that later on. And I'll take the shot, I'll bring the foreground up slightly in post, but most of the colour and the warmth will be in the sky and in the lake. The mountains should be in a cold cast shadow. All in all, I think that'll be a good shot. But for now, I'll put this golden hour shot up for you. Let me know what you think. We're finally getting the last of the sunset, as you can see behind me. We're getting just a touch of colour in the sky. I'll just swivel you around so you can see. You can see we've got a bit of colour in the sky there. It's showing up nicely on camera. As you see, I've got the lake still forming the foreground, leading off to those mountains. Now I've manually focused that so I've got the sharpest possible image going into the mountains. Just firing off a shot now and again, just to make sure I don't miss anything. I'm getting some nice reflected colour in the lake, getting some nice colour in the sky. I reckon the next 10 minutes, I'm going to get the shot of the day. I'll put the best of these ones up. I've taken a few, but I'll only be keeping a couple of them. I'll put the best of them up now. Okay, so I've got back to the car. I've got my tea on, such as it is. It's going to be hot dogs and pita breads tonight. It's pitch black, as you can see by the light. Definitely well into blue hour now. Got my hot dogs on They're cooking on the alcohol stove. I am reasonably confident that it is lit, and I've got myself a nice hot cup of coffee, which is very much needed. So I'm going to get my tea cooked up, get it down me, and then discuss plans for the morning. So far I'm reasonably impressed with the photos I've got. I'm going to get them on the computer in a minute, have a quick look at them, and then think about what we're doing in the morning. So far this car camping, quite enjoying it. Cooking up a treat there. Already hot, it's only been about 15 minutes. So, plain simple pita bread, some hot dogs, a little bit of barbecue sauce. That's going to go down a treat. After the day I've had, I'm going to demolish these sausages in a few minutes. So I'm going to put you down now. I'll come back to you when I've had my tea. It's now 11:15. I'm going to get my head down for the night. Plan for tomorrow. We're going to hike down to the shore of Lake Derwentwater. And I'm hoping to get the sunrise in. Hopefully that should prove some good photos. The sleep system is quite comfortable. Sleeping bag is really warm, so I'm quite happy with that. So far so good as a first attempt. I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to bid you good night. I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. It's about 5 AM. We're about 2.5, maybe 3 hours away from sunrise. Oh dear. So I think I'm going to get some breakfast and a coffee before we go down to the lake. Now, I've just had a look on the weather. It's not looking good for sunrise. But if I can get misty and moody, I'll take that. I'm going to get some breakfast and a coffee, and I'm going to wake up a bit. I'll come back to you when we're on the way down to the lake. So I'm making my way down to the lakeside now. It's about a 1/4 mile walk. About an hour away from sunset, but I want to try and get my composition first. Now the wind has picked up a bit, which does sadly mean the ground isn't going to be, the water isn't going to be as smooth as I'd like. But you never know, there may be some reflection, and it is quite clear even though there is a bit of cloud, so let's see. We may or may not get a sunrise. Okay, so we've got some nice blue hour lighting now. We're still a bit away from sunrise, and finding a shot is difficult. I've got this nice jetty here, which I could make some use of. I think I'm going to set my ultra wide angle lens to try and get as much of the water, the scenery and the sky as possible. And I think I'm going to make use of the jetty, because to try and set a composition without the jetty means going into dark woods that I don't know. I haven't been to this part of the lake before. Making use of the jetty, jetty picture's always nice. I could photograph from over here looking down the lake and use the jetty as a composition into the image. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. See, over here we've got these, can't really make them out at the moment, but you've got these craggy rocks leading off into the image and the jetty coming out. Now that's where the sun's going to rise. It's going to hit those mountains. So there's either that, or there's the obvious, the jetty shot, which if I just make my way over to it, I can actually show you what I'd be looking at with that. If I stick my 18mm lens on, I should get a nice wide shot of the jetty and some of the scenery, and we'll get some nice images of Wallow Crag, which is opposite. So if I just turn you around here, as you can see, with the wide angle lens, we're just going to get some of these mountains here. We can get all that. Now those clouds, if there is a sunrise, might light up a bit. And if they do, that should prove to be a nice image. What to do though, because the image from over there looks nice with the jetty in the frame, but the this actually looks pretty cool too. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up here. I'm going to take some blue hour here with the jetty. I'm going to wait for the sun to rise and get the shot. Now if I need to, I can easily run over there and get a shot from over there, because I know the composition I want from over there now. If those mountains over there light up, I can be there in about 15 seconds and I can shoot this way. Yeah, I think that's the plan. So I'm going to get set up, I'm going to set my camera up. I'll come back to you when I've made a decision. So I'm set up in the middle of the jetty now. If you're photographing a jetty, the only place to set up is right in the middle. So if you've got a post at the end, which this one does, you set up parallel to that. You set up exactly in the middle. That needs to be a focus point, the end of the jetty. Now if you're using a aperture of about f10, that should get pretty much everything nice and sharp. Background, foreground, everything. Now in this kind of light, you don't really need to worry too much about that. I did get a nice blue hour shot before, which I'll put up in a moment. And I'll show you the composition that I've got on the back of the camera. So as you see on the back of the camera, I'm looking straight down the centre of the jetty, over towards the mountains, which is Wallow Crag. That Wallow Crag's kind of over this way. So I'm looking at that mountain range. I've got the sky And as you can see, I've got a nice wide angle looking at absolutely everything. Now, just take a shot of that. I have got cloud over the mountains, and it is coming in cloudy like the weather said, so I'm not holding too much hope for the potential of a decent sunrise. But I am set up if we do get one, and if we get even a glimmer of light on those mountains over there, I'm going to be over there to shoot that scene. So I'm going to make sure I get both angles covered. If these shots are any good, I'll put them up now for you, and I'll come back to you when there's anything to talk about, or if I have to move over there. Now I've moved composition. I've moved back to these rocks and off the jetty. I think I've got everything I'm getting off the jetty. And again, using the same principle, I can always go back if I want to. A bit of wind coming in there. The reason I've moved, as I mentioned before, the sun's going to be raising over sort of towards Bathsonthwaite, which means it's going to come down the valley and it's going to hit those mountains in the background over there. And as you can see, we've already got some warm tones coming into the sky there. But over here, where I was looking before, there isn't as much of that colour. So I've moved over here, set my camera up down here. I'll just turn it on and show you the composition I've got. I'll just brighten the expose. You can see I've got the jetty coming in there. I've got these rocks in the foreground leading off into the horizon there. I've got these mountains here and this bit of woods here framing the mountains we've got at the bottom there, and all the colour is going to hit here. If I darken it off, I'll show you exactly what I'm seeing now. At f13, that's going to give me an adequate amount of sharpness to get that image, so I don't need to focus stack it, anything like that. If I was to set a bit lower to the ground to get more of the rocks in the foreground, if there were a bigger rock pool or something like that, then I might consider doing that. But there isn't, and that's when I'd need to focus stack. Because I'm set a little over 3/4 of a metre high, at f13, that's going to give me a good amount of sharpness in the foreground and in the distance because of the physics of the lens and the a focal plane. It's been a long night, but the depth of field, that's the word I was looking for. The depth of field is going to be adequate enough to get a nice sharp foreground and background as well, if I focus roughly on the centre of the image. Couldn't get my words out then. I'm cold, tired, and I haven't had a decent coffee this morning, so you'll have to forgive me. But when that colour hits the sky, we should get a really nice image looking this way. If there was a bigger rock pool, there are some rock pools here. There's one there, and there's one there, but they're not big enough for my needs. I'd need one at least 1 metre wide, 1 metre long, to make that worthwhile. Something else I do need to invest in is a 16 to 35mm lens. 18mm just isn't enough for this, and 16 to 35 is where I spend most of my time in the focal range, so I'd be able to leave that on all the time and get most of my shots with it. So I think that needs to be the next big investment for my camera gear. In the meantime, I'm going to wait for this shot to come up. Shouldn't be more than another 10 minutes before the sun starts to rise, and at the very least from here we should get some nice golden hour. I'll bring you back when there's something to show you. Okay, so we are officially at sunrise now. It's 8 minutes past 8, and if there is going to be any colour in the sky, it's going to be within the next 5 minutes or so. Otherwise, we're just waiting about 10 minutes for golden hour and relying on some warm tones hitting the sky and hitting the mountains. But I think if it's this cloudy area, I think there's a good chance there's a bank of cloud covering the sunrise itself. I think that's what I'm facing at the moment. If I turn you around, I'll show you what I'm seeing at the moment. Basically, there's some slightly warm tones in the sky, but it is still pretty drab. So I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. I've taken a few images, so I'll pick the best one and edit it. And that's the one that'll come up. If I do get any colour in the sky, then I'll put that one up as well. And what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to set up near one of these rock pools just because I can. I'm going to try and get a shot of the rock pool with the scenery in as well. They're only small rock pools, but see what I can make of them. As I mentioned earlier, it is windy. Now I am getting some colour down here in the sky, but the actual colour that I'd like is over here. It doesn't really translate on the video, but that is a really nice pink over there. There's a nice band of pink just underneath those clouds there. If that would just come over here, that'd be fantastic. So I am going to give it just a few more minutes just to see if anything translates over here. We do have a nice pink hue over these mountains here. Don't know if you can see it, but just over there there's a nice pink hue, and there's some nice pink up here. So I think we are going to get some sort of colour in the sky, but maybe just very subtle. So I'm going to give this about 10 more minutes. But whatever shot I get from this, I will put up, and then I'll go and get me prepared rock pool shot. Whatever I get from here it comes. Okay, so we've got pretty much the last of the colour in the sky. It's just fading away now. I've done what I said I was going to do. I've come down low, come down here, got this rock pool in front of me, creating a nice foreground image. Don't know if you can see that, but there's the rock pool there, and I've obviously got the entire scene there. Did that while I had some colour in the sky. Now what I'm loving about that rock pool is
if you look at the shape of it, it kind of looks a bit like Derwentwater. It almost looks like a little miniature setup of this valley. That's what I like about that. So I've got a photograph of that in the foreground with everything going on in the distance there. Now, I did focus like that. I've taken about 7 pictures, focused at different areas to make that nice and sharp later on. I'll edit them all the same way and blend them together. That'll be the image you'll see in a minute. I don't think I'm going to get anything else from here. I think there's too much cloud cover, and I think as soon as the sun raises into full golden hour, which we're pretty much coming into now, I think that's going to be it for the light. So I'm going to head back to the car to finish this video while you enjoy this last image.
Okay, so I'm back in the car. That brings an end to this video and this wild camp, well, car camp. Will I do it again? That's going to be the first question. Well, yeah, I will do it again. But I think it needs to be planned better, it needs to be worked out better. There's things that could have been done differently. There's things that I didn't have time to do differently, but one of the big things I absolutely definitely need to build a solid wooden sleeping platform for it to be more comfortable. Heating, I could do with getting a decent power station and a little mini heater. Now that's going to be an investment down the line. At the moment I can afford to get a decent sort of memory foam mattress and some wood to build a platform. I think that's the next thing on the agenda, to do that, so that it's a lot more comfortable next time. Will I eventually get a van? I don't know. The piece of being out here, the amount of videos I've been able to get from doing this, I've got to admit that's really appealing. I love my car, I absolutely love my car, but if I get a van, I'd have to kit the van out to be a family vehicle as well. So I'd have to put a back seat in, and those back seats would have to convert into a bed, and the rest of the conversion would have to take place over time. But I can see the appeal. For now, at least, I need to set my car up so I can actually use it, so it's more functional. And doing this, I've managed to get some exceptional photos as well. I've just had a quick look at them on the laptop, and I'm really happy with what I've got. Now, although I am finished camping for this session, I have got a couple of places I want to go today, so there are going to be some more videos coming up from this trip. I think my next major trip's going to be in March. I haven't decided where I'm going yet, but it is probably going to be a wild camp. I'm going to be taking the kayak, well, my paddleboard, and I'm going to be tenting it that time. So hopefully the temperatures increase, because last night it was a little cold. It got down to about -2. There was a little bit of ice out and about, so yeah, hopefully it'll warm up for March. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video. If you've got any ideas as well, any improvements or anything like that I could make, then please let me know, because this is new to me. The idea of a tent I've had before, but the idea of kind of van life in it, or in this case car life in it, not something I've ever done.
So any tips, advice or suggestions are greatly appreciated. It is definitely something I want to do again. It's certainly helped me clear my head anyway. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've enjoyed being along for the ride, and hopefully you join me in the next video. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. This is generally a landscape photography channel. Things like this don't happen very often on the channel, but they will be coming up in the future. And hopefully enjoy the content if you're new here. In the meantime, I'll see you all next time. Keep shooting, and in the meantime, thank you for joining me. Hope you'll join me in the next one. Bye for now.